video is from the Wheat Ridge Historical Society, and it is called The Mural Project. This Wall Can Talk. The story of the little town established in the mid-1800s near Clear Creek between Denver City and Golden is as winding as the Prospect Road that took would-be miners up to the foothills in search of gold, and back down to homestead and farm the area's rich bottom lands. That history of those early farmers who supplied miners with sustenance is newly told on a 13 by 25 foot historical mural painted by a world-renowned muralist on the side of Wheat Ridge's original post office. Although dozens of people helped, 4 individuals worked tirelessly to bring this project to fruition. Marta Hetty, a Wheat Ridge Historical Society board member, brought her writing and research skills to the project. She and her husband, also a board member, remembered a sign painter they'd known years before and contacted him. Mark Otis, who was raised in Wheat Ridge, gladly returned to contribute his sign painting skills to bring local history alive. Deb Bolage, a former Wheat Ridge Historical Society board member, used her technical skills to blend photos, video clips, music, and narration to make the video. District 4 City Councilman Dan Larson did the voiceover and provided technical and editing assistance. All involved greatly appreciated the support of Dr. Richard Scudder of Jefferson County Historical Commission.
Hello, I'm Dan Larson, member of the Wheat Ridge City Council representing District 4. Today, I'd like to introduce you to the latest feature at Wheat Ridge Historical Park. Completed in May 2025, the giant Pascal celery mural reminds us of our past. It connects us with our agricultural heritage and the people who built our community.
The red brick building that now anchors the entrance of Wheat Ridge Historical Park has had a rich and colorful past. It started life in 1912 in farmer Fred Bunger's apple orchard as a tiny grocery store just east of what is today 38th Avenue and Teller Street. But Bunger had bigger ideas. He applied to open the area's first post office. Woodrow Wilson's administration approved the application, and Bunger became the first postmaster. By the 1930s, 38th Avenue had become the center of a thriving town. After the post office was decommissioned, the building served the school across the street as a lunch counter before it housed the city's first barbershop and later the area's first library. When we jump ahead to the 1980s, 38th Avenue had changed dramatically. A false front combined all the old storefronts into one long gray building. The city decided a facelift was in order. Some of the buildings would have to be demolished. The old post office would have been demolished were it not for the discovery of a legal notice in the 1989 Wheat Ridge Sentinel newspaper. An investigation revealed boarded-up windows and a dirty gray facade. Residents supported an effort to update the neighborhood. The Wheat Ridge Historical Society, led by Claudia Worth, a former city council member, petitioned the council to reconsider removal of the building. When that was unsuccessful, Worth hatched a plan to restore the building's charm. Before daybreak on a spring weekend in 1990, Miss Worth and a small group arrived to paint the building red with white trim. By the time traffic resumed that morning, the building looked amazingly different. Soon the public realized what a gem the little building was. The Historical Society again petitioned to save the building, and after some shrewd negotiation, the city agreed to sell it for $1 with one condition. It had to be moved within 2 weeks, a seemingly impossible demand. But miracles do happen. In the pre-dawn hours, the building was moved to a storage meadow. It remained there for nearly a year and a half. A plan to move the building to the historical park met resistance. Neighbors expressed concern about a commercial building there, and others thought they'd lose their view. Finally, a compromise was reached. The post office would reside among mature pine trees at the entrance to the park. In January 1992, the building was moved into the place where it resides today. It took several months to clean out and 3 additional years to refurbish, but they got her done. In 1996, Wheat Ridge Mayor Dan Wild cut the ribbon at the grand opening during the May Festival. Work continues today to organize and preserve the archives and memorabilia collected over time. Those include artifacts related to the area's early settlers, their descendants, and the area's history. The latest chapter in the post office history was written this year with the creation of a stylized mural created by a world-renowned muralist for the Wheat Ridge Historical Society. By the late 19th century, Jefferson County agriculture was well established. It was a celery farmer in 19th century France who provided the crucial element that brought Jeffco farmers fame and fortune. Until that time, celery was considered unremarkable, known for its bitter taste and woody stalks. Raised for its seeds, the plant was rarely used except in soups and stews. A French farmer named Pascal discovered that celery tasted better if buried in trenches for several weeks. He introduced giant Pascal celery to the French market in 1889. Pascal and its improved product completely changed celery's destiny. The new, tastier celery had a drawback. It required lots of labor. After spring planting and summer growth, teams of workers spread out across the fields in late summer. Each celery stalk was wrapped in newspaper, laid in a trench, covered with dirt and manure to produce heat, and left in place for several weeks. By late fall, workers dug up the plants, stripped off the outer layers, and readied the sweet inner stalks for shipping just in time for the holidays. Before there were billboards, merchants featured large-scale advertising on the sides of buildings and barns. Soon, fanciful images of faraway places and exaggerated scenes competed to catch the eye. Crafty photographers earned their keep by manipulating their photos in interesting ways. Tall tale postcards were especially popular in rural communities that wanted to become known for abundant crops. Portrayals of oversized vegetables fit the bill. These pictures of oversized vegetables quickly became popular. Farmers and businessmen were eager to attract customers and new workers willing to relocate using messages like, "We grow them big here," on cards designed to attract attention. In his 1904 seed catalog, Henry Lee, the father of Wheat Ridge, claimed that giant Pascal celery had very large, thick stalks and offered a rich, nutty flavor. Pioneer farmers Bert and Etta White moved from Iowa to Colorado in 1892 and brought 15 acres of prime bottomland. With their sons, Frank and Leonard, they settled into a sod house on Apple Blossom Lane. Their farm extended north of Prospect Road and is today the location of the Wheat Ridge Historical Park. The White family grew a variety of truck garden produce and employed many Italian immigrants as field hands. One of these workers asked Bert for a loan so he could travel to Italy. Upon returning, he presented Bert with a new kind of celery seed he'd smuggled out of Marseille, France, on the way home. Bert began raising the new Pascal celery, and soon he was known as a source of seeds as well as produce. Around 1910, he and Etta ordered a kit home from Sears and Roebuck that reminded her of her childhood home in Iowa. Bert and his sons built the red brick house just south of the sod house. Bert and Etta lived in the modern new house, while the sons and Bert's cherished Model T Ford resided in the soddy. Over the following years, Bert's celery business thrived. Yearly competition was fierce among growers over who would supply the White House with celery for the holidays. Carnations, wheat, and celery are not the only things Wheat Ridge has successfully produced. Artist Mark Otis recalls growing up in Wheat Ridge and coming of age at the end of the turbulent 1960s. During that time, he became fascinated with the letters and signs the city saw all around him. A friend gave him a book about sign painting, and he was hooked. He signed on as an apprentice with the local sign painters union, a program that brought him passion and an unfolding life plan. The next few decades found Mark honing his skills on various Denver area projects. His work included the Savory Mushroom Farm Tower, the lettering on the Tivoli smokestack, and the lovely Tivoli Girl glass painting. Countless other signs followed, both in Colorado and elsewhere. He then went to work at Yesco Signs in Las Vegas. After 2 decades of creative work and garnering numerous awards, he retired as the company's creative director in 2025. The timing of his retirement coordinated well with the Wheat Ridge Historical Society's itch to do something with the unadorned exterior wall of the park's post office. 2 board members recalled a young sign painter they'd known from college. 5 minutes of research showed them that their friend was now world famous. They found projects for the Disney Company in Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai, and numerous mural projects throughout the United States and Canada. When Otis was asked about returning to his hometown to create a mural on the old post office wall, the answer was immediate. "It would be my pleasure." Otis was hard at work even before the entire scope of the project came together. Months of research and planning demonstrate Mark's meticulous attention to detail. He submitted 3 designs to the Historical Society Board. They made the final decision, and the City Parks and Recreation Commission and the Cultural Commission signaled their approval. A fundraising campaign followed, asking for donations of equipment, time, and funds. The community's generosity soon had the project moving forward. Mark and his wife Rose arrived on Thursday, May 1st, and immediately started to work. The first step was covering the wall with a thick white sealant. On Sunday evening, an outline of the design was projected onto the wall. Mark, his wife, and other family members rushed to trace the lines with magic marker to provide guidelines for the painting. Early Monday morning, Mark was mixing paint on site. The actual painting did not cease until nightfall each evening and continued for many days. The letters of the title were completed using a special technique called pouncing, which was used by Michelangelo during the Renaissance. Charcoal dust is forced through perforated paper stencils on top of dry paint. This then provides a letter outline on the surface to be filled in later. Members of the community who attended the 2025 May Festival watched as the mural painters steadily and carefully painted the various sections of the design. One of the last touches was the artist's name added to the sign at the lower right-hand corner. The mural includes additional references to local history. The wagon is based on a picture found in the Wheat Ridge Historical Society archives. The name on the wagon is Henry Lee, the early settler who owned a farm supply store. The man driving the wagon is Bert White. The bird perched on the celery sign is a lark bunting, the Colorado state bird. The giant Pascal celery mural connects us with the past. It reminds us of our shared agricultural heritage and the people who built our community.